Okay. Well, it seems like we're apparently recording. So, hi, everybody. Hello. Welcome to Talk to Your Plants. I am Fern Lovebond, and this is my excuse to talk to interesting people about beliefs. I was raised religious, and over the course of my young adulthood, I came to reject not only the faith of my upbringing, but religion after religion as I investigated, and now I am an atheist. But my goal here is not actually deconversion. My goal is to talk to interesting people to better understand why they do or don't believe certain religious things in the hopes that I can have a more meaningful and well rounded idea about my fellow human beings, whether they happen to be plant life or not. So, if you're someone looking at religion or atheism, I might want to talk to you because talking to your plants helps them grow. Uh, So, help me grow. Although, technically, I think that's scientifically been disproven, but nonetheless, in the process of helping me grow is my lovely co-host.
Co-post?
You know what I'm saying? I'm sorry, everyone. I have been drinking earlier. I'm all out of I'm all out of beer now, and all right, you. Uh, I'm now all out of beer. But so my co-host here is, of course, the familiar to some of you, Chloe Plant, who identifies as HSP, highly sensitive person, and SDA, or Seventh Day Adventist Christian. She's an upcoming author, active godmother of three, and a special care provider who will be generously spending her time with me as I blather on about beliefs. I affectionately call her Chloe Plant. Hi there, neighbor Chloe. How are you?
Hey, I'm hanging in there.
Just getting by with the
Yeah,
slings and arrows that life has thrown at you, as I understand it.
yeah.
And as you can see, I am all out of beer, so I will not be getting more intoxicated. Uh, in the meantime, I'm just for those of you who may have caught the first couple episodes during season one. Yes, I have now officially declared this as season two
Oh,
because it's now 2024, and I think it's better to name seasons after the year that they're in because that's really confusing when it's like season one and it lasts throughout two different years. That's annoying. So, anyway, we're on season two, and for season two, I'm like, I give up on having topics. I'm just, I'm not gonna have a topic. I just want it to be conversations with people. So, Chloe Plant, was there anything regarding religion and belief that has been on your mind lately that you want to talk about and that I can then poke holes in and give you a shit about?
am I unmuted now?
Oh, yeah, you've been unmuted since you started cackling into the microphone earlier.
Okay. Hi. Um, is there anything that's been on my mind lately? Oh boy.
Yes.
Well,
Yeah.
um, all kinds of things have been on my mind. Because I have a brain that doesn't shut up.
Don't we all?
Well, but thank you. Is it? And I know to be technical. Is it good if I set the mic right there?
Sure. Why not? Screw it. We're not professionals here. I mean, the camera alone is proving how unprofessional we are. In fact, let me do this because, like, you keep jostling around so much. I want
Yeah, yeah. It helps. The landscape view helps me.
to. Okay, cool.
All right.
So,
Okay.
hi. Come on
Well,
closer.
okay, yes, hi. Okay, well,
You're why everybody tunes in, by the way.
mm,
No, yeah. No, I've looked at the comments, and you are why people tune in.
it is the two of us talking.
Whatever. It's
Yeah,
all about you. I know it's about you.
you've been drinking. So anyway, um,
All right,
well,
so yeah, what's on your mind religiously, beliefs wise, when it comes to your theories about imaginary friends?
well, I think one of the well, speaking of, I think I might just like go in with a just kind of cannonball in because
Mm-hmm.
anybody who's watched the last three episodes will remember that I had hair.
Oh yeah, that.
Now, um,
This is
I
so great though. Look at that hair. It's fantastic.
well, I thank you. When you ask about like what sort of things have been on my mind, and then I go to hair, but the whole thing is that like last night, you know, last night, as you know, I decided to kind of go more public about something that's been going on in my life since actually before the very first intro episode,
Yep.
um, which is that I am going through a divorce. And
Posting about it on Instabook or Facegram. You
that's
know,
just
the
the
thing.
stuff, the things that you call it because you hate that. Yes, I did a Facebook Live. Um,
Yeah, that's what I
and
said.
and I had initially wanted to just have the things be as quiet and private as possible. And this episode is not going to be the whole story of all that. The reason why I bring it up is because, identifying in my theology as Seventh Day Adventist, um, even though culturally and in some other ways, I nobody would peg me for that who knows Adventism really well. Um, because
Are you a renegade SDA?
I don't know exactly how I'd be classified. I'm Chloe, and I've never been more.
Renegade SDA. I like that. I'm sticking with it. This is Chloe, the renegade SDA.
I'm
That's
not. I'm not very renegade-y. I'm very like quirky, homebody, whatever.
well,
But
you're a renegade against your particular faith tradition.
I'm
Also, the weird noise you guys might be hearing in the background is my coffee maker. Sorry about that.
I don't hear it. But
Okay, good.
the reason why I bring that up is because having been born and raised in the denomination that I was in, and even though my soon-to-be ex-husband was not born and raised in it, he became Adventist in his teens. And we
Oh,
were a pastoral couple
that
together.
explains so much.
We were a pastoral couple together for 4 years, and it was like the first 4 years of the 8.5 year marriage. And so there was a great deal of saturated amount, especially for me, of the impact of my denomination and religion and Christianity faith. There's just a whole lot of that just is saturating my whole experience. And part of what led to this is that I bleached my hair so much that I had a couple tufts on top where the hair had come off and they just stuck straight up. And
Oh yeah, we
I
started
was
with hair.
I contemplated different things, and then finally, in a moment of just like, I just need to be free and I'm just going to do this. I started my Facebook Live with my hair, and then I just started to cut it while I started to talk. Um, and um,
How does
that,
this relate to your religious thinking? The idea about your hair? I don't get it.
well, that's probably an unnecessary detail that has to do with this, but also, I mean, heck, like there can be certain gender stereotypes about what is or isn't feminine and normal, whatever. um Thankfully, Adventism is not, as a whole, it's not at all a place where like, oh, you have to have long hair. Like, I think Pentecostals, I think, are like that. um but so
I
as
like
I
I like how you start from like a fringe theology and point at a more fringe theology. Be like, we're not like those people.
I'm
Like,
not trying to say that that makes us better. I'm just trying to differentiate.
no, I
um
get it. It's just funny you have to point so far afield just to get outside of the fringe.
Well, it's also because that's the only one that I'm pretty sure I know that, like, long hair is, like, a requirement for women. Anyway, and I also did it as kinda symbolic. I've done different things with my hair over time that just feel symbolic to where I'm at personally, and in going public and cutting off my hair, it was, like, symbolic of, getting rid of a burden and removing something from my past. As I was
Wait,
sharing s
other way. Sorry, I
Oh,
was
oh,
playing with the yeah.
oh,
I
I
was
thought you were
doing that
telling me to
wrong.
wait.
No, I
Um
was doing it wrong. Sorry, go on. I apologize.
And, even though I haven't been a pastor's wife since March of 2019, um, Facebook friends still a lot with former church members, and I took it really seriously. I meant it with my whole heart, and I don't regret those decisions. And even though it's been years
Yep.
since I was one, I still, I would still carry a sense of, responsibility, pain, because like when people who used to look up to us see that now we are divorcing and that things weren't pretty, a lot of times people stay utterly silent because they don't want to jostle somebody else's faith. And um, while I don't want to take other people's faith lightly, I also think that if your faith in God is going to have significant trouble because of brokenness and pain amongst humans, then the faith in God needs to become stronger. And so I had various reasons, and eventually I think I'm actually going to put that in this other video that I've mentioned where I kind of broke through a mask on my YouTube channel, which I need to get going, just as like an intro to some pretty core stuff about me. And in that, I was talking a lot about, I would kind of wax into the tangent of talking about integrity and character, um, not just
Speaking of
about,
tangents, I'm kind of lost here.
yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm slightly the dumb one in all of this. Can
No,
you can
no,
you
no.
help me out? Was there a point
You're
somewhere in
you're
this?
you're not the dumb one. I have divorce brain and ADHD and some other things going on.
Okay,
So
so where were we headed
you
here?
asked me about religion and faith stuff that's been on my mind, and then as a
Yeah.
segue into that, I mentioned the hair, and then I was talking about different factors to do with the video.
Okay.
And
Okay, I don't care about the factors of
I
video.
know, I know.
I want to know how it is that you're trying to I just want to know what's been on your mind about faith and belief and religion, not all this other stuff in Facebook and hair. Like, okay, if you
Okay,
want to
I'm
talk
gonna.
about your
Okay,
hair related to your religion, cool.
I'm gonna cut into a vein where at the end of last night, I was reflecting on something about like how because in the video I also shared about how my friendship with you and experiences with other atheists, calling into other shows, and just having
Hmm.
more relationship with the atheist community has asked a lot of good questions and made me realize quite a few things that I don't have the same certainty about anymore in terms of like just some really harsh epiphanies about like being raised in a certain bubble. There are certain things that I accepted and trusted because I was raised to accept and trust, not
Hmm.
because I can stand on my own feet and give my own answer. Thankfully,
Okay.
there are some things that I can give my own answer about. And the reason why this came up in the video to do with my divorce is because my divorce is tied up with a lot of betrayal trauma and now some more dimensions of it. And it has to do with a great um, breaking and loosening with my relationship with organized religion. And
Hmm.
so I still believe in God. And then and I mentioned in the video that you had asked me privately like why, or things like that. And I've been doing a lot of soul searching, and I've been learning a lot about scientific method and all these other sorts of things that
Hmm.
have loosened some stuff but not loosened others. And
Okay. Well,
my
hold on a
answer
sec. You're
answer
going on and
to
on. Let me.
my answer to your question
Uh
about
huh.
why do I still believe
That's okay.
my answer to your question about why do I still believe is that I need to. And because even though I cannot give a scientific method verified answer as to why I know that I've known God,
Hmm.
I know that I've known him, I believe in him. And I also just need to believe in a God who is bigger than me, who is love, and who's bigger than everything that I've been through and that I've seen other people go through. And that's
Okay.
really seems a lot more like an emotional answer, not an intellectual answer, but that
Okay.
is
Can we
where
hold
I'm
on? All right.
starting.
Can we? All right. You're compounding a lot of
I'm done.
ands and
I'm done. I'm done. I'm
okay
done.
then. All right.
Pick
Now,
away. Pick away.
hold on. Just chill, calm. Let's relax for a second. There's a lot of ands stacked into that. Um. Oh my goodness.
I'm a
Okay.
lot.
All right. So you did say this is probably not the thing everybody else is going to be like. Oh, you should have asked about that.
We're just gonna
You,
be us.
yeah, I know. I keep thinking about what other people who might pick up the video might be wondering or thinking, and I got to stop worrying about them.
Yeah, we can do that in another episode. So you just be you
It's
right now.
not a worry. The okay. So how do I go back through this? I was watching when you did your live thing, sort of. I mean, I don't have a Facebook or whatever Insta thing. I don't do Meta, but you allowed me to kind of voyeur on to your stream.
Two different
Uh,
devices. You were on Discord, I was on Facebook, and
yeah,
you
right,
were, like,
right.
in solidarity with me.
Yeah, I was just, you let me watch what happened.
Hi.
It was a lot of information, a lot of things, and just now you were talking about like some of the things you mentioned there about your relationship with different atheist people and watching different programs and what have you, and how that's kind of gotten you to ask certain questions about yourself, um, and your beliefs. So you mentioned that some things you said, or some things that you believed, you've questioned, and other things you've been more solid about. Um, I'd kind of be curious to know. I'm just going to caveat this with briefly, because we're not going to take a long time tonight. Um, Briefly, what is it that you feel has retained like most solidly for you? Is it this thing you mentioned about your rock solid on your belief in God? Period. That.
Yeah.
Or was there something else that you feel is a little more stable than just that, or is that the most stable thing?
So while I my relationship with God and my love of the Bible, now while my love of the Bible is still the same, I also do make room and hold space for lots of really understandably good questions about how certain things come across and read, and the wrestling worthy questions that come up because of all the very apparently looking contradictory stuff that looks like you would have to do all sorts of contortions to make it all come together. So
I
as
mean,
I
that's
know,
from an
I
outside
know,
perspective, that is what you do is
I know,
contortions, because
I know.
as Dan McClellan so eloquently puts it, the univocality of the Bible is not apparent and requires a great deal of mental gymnastics to justify. So yeah,
Yeah,
from outside the Bible, the biblical belief, literalist or univocal belief that you hold, it does appear like contortions because that's kind of what you're doing. Is you're contorting to make the narratives all work together, even though they don't. I mean, you're aware that there are a lot of different authors to the Bible,
mhm.
um, and they're all from across like a 15 or 1600-year span. So,
I don't know the whole span, but I know that there were many, many, writers, transcribers, people who received inspiration, um,
well,
and then people who wrote
uh,
down notes and things.
whether or not it's inspiration or whatever, I'm saying that you're aware that there were more than
Lots
one
of
author.
people. Lots
Yeah.
of people, yes.
So all those different people can't possibly have had the same like authorial motivations and impressions and intentions. So they kind of, it would be insane to think that they could all be writing for the same purpose or toward the same message. Like their
But
ideas about,
if they
like
were all inspired,
think
if
about
they were
your ideas about God compared to any other Christian's ideas about God or morality or what the
if
commandments might be or
if
well, like right, like they're different.
lots of people over lots of different time, yes, but if they're all inspired by the same God, then there is a common thread in them all.
Okay, so are all Christians inspired by the same God?
I would say no, because not everybody who professes to be a Christian has God in their heart.
Oh, fuck me. All right, so this is the true Scotsman thing. Let's pretend for a second that when I say Christians, I'm talking about the ones that you happen to personally approve of as being labeled Christian, for fuck's sake, although that's a whole different argument. But from amongst those, you believe they're all talking about the same God or not?
I do.
Then why aren't they univocal?
I
You
think
have differing opinions with your own church. Like your particular little group,
I
this like
think
narrow subset that
I
believes that LGBTQ people are valid and what have you, like you're a very tiny sample of an incredibly small number of Christians.
the univocality that I look for and that I do find is in terms of relationship with God and character and integrity. Yes, it so now in
Okay,
terms of
what
like,
we're talking about though is the biblical text, and my
oh,
example was to point out that, okay, so similar to the text, if everybody in the text were all, oh, they're all writing about the same God. All right, if that were true, then they would all say the same thing, but they don't. And then let's compare that to supposedly all, let's just even be specific to Seventh day Adventist Christians. Supposedly, people who are, in your view, true to the Seventh day Adventist theology should all be univocal, but you're not.
mhm.
those facts don't seem to reconcile with your claim or statement or viewpoint on this matter. And therefore,
and
if your own people who agree with you
wait,
can't be univocal about the theology, how do you expect the people who wrote the Bible from across centuries of their own time to be univocal?
you talked with me about who I consider to be univocal, like all the people that you say that I would approve of, and that is not exclusive to Adventism by any means. It doesn't
Hmm.
mean that just anybody who's Adventist is somebody that I would consider to be part of this univocal thing in my mind.
That feels like a sidestep of the question, but
No,
okay.
it's no, it's not. You literally no. You said, okay, if we were to pause this, record, and rewind and look, you were like, oh, so the people that you would approve of, or that you would say. And so in my mind, I'm thinking of the people that I would refer to as people that I consider to be, like, as you would say, all true Christians, like, but people that I experience consistently to be authentic Christians who have relationships with God, and they are not all in the same denomination. And in terms of certain aspects peripherally of interpreting
Oh,
scripture, not necessarily the same,
well, now, but see, hold
in
on.
terms
That's
of personal integrity, in terms of personal integrity and relationship with God, and being loving and good to people, there is that univocality.
okay, but that's okay. Maybe that word isn't being used the same way then between us. Univocality, meaning speaking with one voice, as in they all have the same thing to say.
I would
So,
still actually
in
say
other
that
words, the
when it comes
idea of Trinitary versus Unitary belief, the ideas about original sin, or about the literalism of the historicity of the Bible.
and
These
that
are things that are not univocal in the Bible itself, or like there is really no monotheism in the Bible, but beyond that specific detail, like I'm just saying, like are various obvious contradictions in the Bible that different people from across different faiths all have strong disagreements about. They are not univocal, and
so
the
so
text itself is not univocal.
So what you just mentioned though, like those, you mentioned, those different things like Trinitarian, blah blah blah, like
Right.
those
You're annihilationists. You don't
hold on.
believe in an eternal hell, right? That's a difference in opinion.
So when you ask me about what are we univocal about, and I say matters of character, integrity, and relationship with God, those I guess bring me back to like thinking of that. I think the episode before last, where we talked about the difference between religion and spirituality, and
Ugh.
hey, look, you need to find a new partner. But like, look, and so I'm talking to you about what I do see as the
Okay,
univocality things. And so
but those things aren't really.
specific doctrines,
All right.
it
Keep
is
that up.
hard. In terms of specific doctrines, it is hard to find a perfect univocality. But but being true Christians and going to heaven and relationship with God isn't about a perfect univocality of doctrine. It's about character and integrity.
Chloe, that's what the term univocality is about, is doctrine.
Then there's my
That's
problem.
exactly that's
Okay,
exactly what it is about. It is
then
specifically about.
okay. Well, that is a good clarification. And as we continue to argue, I was starting to wonder about univocality, vocal, the things that people like say, and then I was starting to go there. Okay,
Not
all
okay,
right.
so quit adding meaning to it.
I'm not
What we're
adding meaning. I was
okay.
doing my best.
Right. Okay. Okay. Do you want to hit me?
No,
You sound very angry and strident right now.
I'm not
Are you
angry and
okay?
I'm not angry and strident. I'm just being assertive.
You're such an angry non-atheist.
I'm just being I'm being assertive. I am less anxious about putting my foot down when I want to finish my sentence or thought.
Rawr. That's it. I'm just gonna mute you. And no, I'm kidding. We're not gonna do that. I I did consider it for a second though. It's just muting you and be like, all right, chill the fuck out. But I didn't. Damn. All right. I didn't expect you to get so angry.
I wasn't angry. I was assertive.
I'm not angry.
All right. So what were you going to say next?
I, what are areas of your beliefs and like doctrinal positions? Just pick one that you could say that you've started to wrestle with as a result of your relationship with atheists and speaking to people who are agnostic or what have you? Like when you talked to Nikki, you had already been involved in speaking to people in the atheist community or at least agnostic community or deconstructionist communities. Like you'd already kind of started questioning things. And, with the idea, I understand that, like, if it's true, it should be able to survive Inquisition, right? Like
Yep, yep,
you should be able to inquire and the truth should still stand,
mhm.
which I got to say is a really strong point in your favor in terms of the intellectual honesty of it. I really appreciate that about you.
Here,
Um, yes. Oh, hello, cat.
he was about to knock over my mic.
Oh, I'm sure. And,
Mhm.
it's important that every cat sees, wait, you're on a camera? I need to show them my asshole. Like, that's how cats work. That's.
This is Dennis.
Hi, kitty. What is it? Denny?
Dennis.
That's what I said. Dennis. Hi,
Except,
Dennis.
except he's the opposite of a menace.
Well, apparently not. Trying to show off his butthole. Um, no. All right. So, right, what's something that you've kind of started struggling with because of those relationships? I'm curious to know.
Well, I think one of the easiest things to go to is like when you and I were talking about like science, evolution, creation science, and the flood, and other sorts of forms of evidence. While I have gotten a much better taste of just how dirty a word creationist or creation science is, to atheists, and
Okay,
just
I would really appreciate if you would not use the word creationist and science as if they're in any way
exactly
related.
my point. Exactly
It's kind of.
my
As a matter of
point.
fact, you know what? You're
Exactly.
guilty. That's like two blasphemes in one program already. Show your shirt. Show off. Lift up your shirt. Not lift up your shirt. I mean,
Well,
show people
actually,
your shirt.
well,
I know what I
actually,
meant. I didn't mean.
I know. Well, actually, the reason why I have layers is because I have a sort of a plan of making some points. But yes,
Whoa.
violation of
Hey, hold on. This is not
I know that,
Adventist gone
but
wild. Okay.
no, it's not at all. Okay, so first, it's the
Right.
verse is
Yeah, that's
telling.
annoying. First Corinthians bullshit.
Well, it's
You
not
see?
it's not what the
All
verse
right, stop
actually.
showing it. Stop showing it.
What?
Just stop.
What?
Put your camera. All right, fine. Be that way. All right. What?
All right, put me back on. Come
All
on.
right. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so that's not what the verse says, but it's referring to the verse. And then yes, it utilizes like spirituality and Star Wars all mixed together. Um,
Ugh. What was it? 16 something or other? I don't care. I don't
um,
know why I give a shit. I don't know why I
16,
asked. I'm
16,
sorry.
16,
Forget I
16.
asked.
Now I'm gonna look it up.
What?
I'm not gonna read it out loud necessarily. I just want to look it up. 16.
Uh
Mm. Oh, okay. All right. All right. Okay.
what?
I just wanted to look and see what 1 Corinthians 16:13 said. I'm not gonna read it out loud.
Nobody cares?
Other people would, but you don't.
What? No, it's dumb. It's
It's not.
fiction.
It's not.
Bad fiction.
It's not.
It's if I remember right, that's one of those like I'm probably remembering it wrong. It's one of those whole like we're so persecuted sort of tinted verses. I don't know.
It's
Oh no, people hate us because we're Christian. No, we hate you because you're annoying. Shut up.
no, it's
Just
not. It's not what the verse says. Anyway.
something like that.
Hmm.
Anyway, it doesn't really matter. So you blasphemed twice by wearing that fucking shirt, and then on top of that, calling it creationist science. It's not science.
So you have
Science
just
is.
beautifully proven my point because I do still believe in a literal 6-day creation.
I'm
However,
gonna mock you mercilessly.
I know, but let me finish my sentence first so that you can be thorough in your merciless mocking.
Ah,
So,
excellent.
um, I do still believe in a literal 6-day creation. However, um, there, in talking, when we also got to talking about the flood and just about like, creationism versus science, evolutionary science, and whatnot. And I know that like for you, evolution and science are one of the same, and just my brain is a mixture of things
I
about
mean,
all this.
sort of. I mean,
Anyway, so I never did have a problem with understanding and seeing how like species can adapt over time and that things change over time. Um And I had never ever looked closely. I had seen a little bit here and there, and then I remember you about lost your mind when I, mentioned that when I was homeschooled that I was, that I had high school science out of a textbook written by a creationist,
Yep.
and
And
you
there it is. I lost my mind. That is why I am stupid, is I no longer have a brain. I am I am in a vegetative state,
You
hence
were you were so mad that I got a little offended because you actually, I mean, I think you apologized later for saying this, but in the moment you thought I had not gotten an education, and I was like, "What? Is it not true that like there's a nucleus, the center of every cell, and then DNA in there, and all this other like I know some actual like real science here." But anyway, so but in looking but something that is different now though is that like, when we talked about the flood and evidence for and against, I couldn't say anything verbatim. All I could do was remember one of my adopted uncles, and that he has a PhD and he, has these emphases, but I couldn't regurgitate anything verbatim. I didn't
eh,
know anything to refer to. And it's not that I still suddenly don't believe, but that I am like, you know what? I am no longer satisfied with having these conversations when I really can't explicitly know and understand and point to anything myself. And then
mm,
while there are some people that I still have personal trust in, and it definitely I feel, comfortable, very comfortable in their scholasticism, and I want to look it up and know it for myself. I
mm.
also am aware that I just have just a very increasingly strained relationship with the state of my denomination in terms of, let me finish, in terms of, because I hear you taking a
I,
breath and I know what it
I
means.
didn't even talk. I was taking a sip of my fucking drink.
Okay,
Christ.
sorry. I heard there's a breath that you have when you're about to interrupt. Sorry. And
I'm sorry, I'm breathing.
oh, and
How dare I?
and so let's see here. I help me out with my train of thought before we just had that moment.
I don't know. You respect nut jobs.
Stop.
I
Um,
think that's what you said.
no, it's not what I said.
It's pretty much.
No, no, no.
So okay, I get it though. You want to. So
I want to
sometimes if
understand
you think
things.
I'm going to interrupt, it
Oh, oh,
might be
oh, oh,
because
oh,
you've
oh,
been
oh, oh.
going on,
No, no, no. It's because I heard the breath. Okay, so
which might have been
I
because you've been
remember, and I
going
want to say
on.
it before I forget it. I remember, and I want to say it before I forget it. So, in the process, I have to like close my eyes and think really hard to not lose it. In the process of all of this, you've been showing me, like, we've been watching different things on YouTube, and like, I've been looking at the really crappy arguments that have been made by Christians, and then I've been also looking at very logical looking science, and also a much more intellectually honest and emotionally balanced approach from atheists about content, and it doesn't change my mind yet,
Hmm.
about like, my belief in the flood and creationism,
Right,
who say literal
but
creation,
but
but
to be,
I have less and less trust than ever in like emotional integrity in my denomination in certain sources, and there's just been so much broken trust, and the more that I also just realize, wow, I just think I know, or I just trust, and I'm like, but I don't know nearly enough for myself that I want to know, and that made me feel really
mm,
inept and stupid, and it
oh,
also, and the more
you're
that I
not stupid. You're not stupid. You're a clearly intelligent person, and which is why sometimes okay, you just wear stupid shirts. That's not you're not stupid. You just wear stupid shirts. But
and so and so I want to, with the whole implications of broken trust and how it spreads to other things and how I look at it and how it spreads to leadership and other things, I just feel a very strong need to start to learn things and know things for myself, because
mhm,
there's just so much that is not trustworthy to me anymore.
mm.
And
Yeah,
so
I totally get that. I
and so
definitely identify with
and so
that.
if this doesn't feel trustworthy, then how can I still really feel the same trust here? And then I look and I see like, well, and I look and I just realize that there's so much of like an insider language and an inside bubble kind of dynamic, where like, oh, we're just raised to implicitly trust and believe, but like, and in my case, because I was believed to trust so strongly that like there were aspects of my college experience where like, I it wasn't at all about cheating. It wasn't that at all, but where I would study just enough to pass, and I would, and some things were of more interest to me and I retained them better than others, but like I got my degree, I got my grades, honestly. But at the same time, because I didn't feel as much of a real drive to learn for the sake of understanding, because everything that I was just raised to trust, there was just a lot of attention that I wish I'd given my studies that I didn't.
Mhm.
And now I'm too overwhelmed with my life to even, I mean, I've been too overwhelmed for a while to even
Right.
think about going back to
All
school.
right. So you understand that like even those people who've gotten those PhDs and gone on to get doctorates and what have you, like they all have probably had similar experiences of college. Like you understand that they may have had things like that happen with them.
I know everyone's procrastinated and not everybody remembers everything from college. I know, but like this stuff is
Right.
really important to me. And now I'm at a place where, because of ironically a ton of personal experiences that I never thought would circle back to wanting to understand science and other things better, um, that's, like, that's something that I just am now incredibly curious about.
Hmm.
And I'm still not
You know,
doubting my belief in the
well,
flood
hold
and the
on,
six-day
hold on, hold on,
creation.
hold on. To be fair, what I asked wasn't have you stopped believing something. What all I was asking was just what things had been most challenged, and it sounds like clearly, your literalist interpretation is one of those things that has been most
My certain
challenged.
no, no, it's more like my certainty. There are
Right.
aspects of my certainty. Like,
That's probably the best, honestly.
because
Certainty is a sheer warning sign.
because there's belief that sometimes just can never be scientific method validated. And then
Mhm.
there's other things that we can definitely have more of an intellectual certainty about. And I
Right.
realize, and
So
I have I
I do want to point that out. You've actually touched on this a few different times, and I feel like it's something that maybe needs a little bit of clarification. When we're talking about belief, you don't ever need to talk about whether or not it can be scientifically validated because that's not belief, that's knowledge. Belief is not about whether or not you can apply the scientific method and get the information. It's not what it's for. Belief is when you don't have knowledge, but you go ahead and believe something anyway. Like it might be based on I have a preponderance of evidence that makes me go, well, then it's probably true. Even though I don't have conclusive evidence, I believe that X is true because I have enough evidence and experience and other information that makes me feel like, yeah, I'm confident in that belief, in that assumption, that assertion, that claim. But it doesn't have to be scientifically proven. I don't even like the word proof unless we're talking about math. I think that's kind of a bad use of the term. Science doesn't prove things, science is about disproving itself. It's about looking for the facts, the truth of things, and you're
and
not really that's not what belief is about.
Well, and see, and it's actually because of like how you've kind of, helped me sharpen about like my understanding of what science is really supposed to be about. Now I'm going to look up this Ellen White quote that I love that I want to put on a t-shirt. No,
Fuck
no,
me.
no, no, no. I don't think you want to say fuck you for this. Because what you just said, like it's looking about like disproving itself and just looking for like the best possible answers. And I kind of mentioned this in my video last night, even though I didn't directly quote it, but it's like this quote right here needs to be so much more the case. And this is, I think, even before I read this quote, it's just something intuitive my whole life. And I think it's why in all of my Chloe HSP SDA platforms I have this little distillation where it says, I love studying life, I hate bad answers.
Yep.
like
I
like
remember that was one reason I was willing to reach out to you is that
I,
you I mean, frankly, that's like I guess it's not a red flag. It's a green flag. It's a green flag to me when somebody says like, I want good answers. To me, that's like that's saying I'm not willing to just accept what somebody offers. I'm slightly skeptical. I
and
think that's an important and critical aspect of intellect is your capacity to be skeptical, especially about the things that you hold most dear.
And I think that with the whole thing about being skeptical, and questioning is that like it's very important for retaining your own individuality and your autonomy and not merging your mind and your will into someone else, whether it's a person you have an intimate relationship with or whether it's an authority of some sort. And and I think that retaining your individuality, your independence, your free will, your conscience, it's very important for health. So anyway, here's this quote. um
Mm-hmm.
and agitate, agitate, agitate with an exclamation point. The subjects which we present to the world must be to us a living reality. It is important that in defending the doctrines which we consider fundamental articles of faith. Wait,
Oops.
why are you switching over to a show?
Nothing. Something. It was supposed to happen in the background. I apologize.
Because you just can't stand to hear me read this?
No, it was something I had been intending to bring in, and I accidentally took this moment while you were focused on something to
Attempts to
go grab
multitask?
something to write, and I did it badly. Thank you,
Okay,
everybody.
well, guess what? I'm going to start over. Agitate.
Okay. Fuck.
This will agitate you. Agitate, agitate, agitate. The subjects which we present to the world, and of course, this is her writing to Christians and Adventists, must be to us a living reality. It is important that in defending the doctrines which we consider fundamental articles of faith, we should never allow ourselves to employ arguments that are not wholly sound. I see that all over the place now. These may avail to silence an opposer, but they do not honor the truth. We should present sound arguments that will not only silence our opponents, but will bear the closest and most searching scrutiny.
Mm. Well,
Now, come on.
interesting that
Now,
you would
Fern,
put it that way.
Fern, come on. That is a
But,
fucking good quote.
I mean, you're a potty mouth for a Christian, you know that?
I said that in the very beginning.
I love it. No. Uh,
I don't do it to be loved,
I
and I don't think
trust me. I'm
I don't,
pretty sure that most people outside of your SDA circles do find you guys agitating.
hold on, what a minute. Oh, Lord. What? Oh, good grief. Sorry, I just got a notification. I want to look at that. What? Say it again.
Nothing.
No,
Um,
say it again.
I think I think most people outside your personal circles do find you agitating. It's okay. Seventh Day
You
Adventist,
have
not you
no
personally.
idea. You have no
Yeah,
idea. When my sister Heather was just my chosen sister Heather was still kind of initially getting to know me a few years ago,
you
and
just
she
call
did.
her sister.
And
It's fine.
yeah, yeah. Well, it's weird to say. Oh, my sister was just getting to know me. That sounds weird. But like
Eh,
when she was, and she didn't get to know all my flaws just yet. And she said, "Oh, Chloe, who could hate you?" And I, and I just like busted up laughing, like story of my life.
all the people could
So
hate me.
many, so
So
many,
many people.
and for
Yeah.
so many
So
reasons.
I was reminded earlier, and I wanted to flash back to the whole I'm good at dealing with people.
What would you say you do here? Well, look, I already told you. I deal with the goddamn customers so the engineers don't have to. I have people skills. I am good at dealing with people. Can't you understand that? What the hell is wrong with you people?
Yeah, that was the thing I was reminded of earlier. About being
What? What?
just
When I was being assertive?
let's call it assertive, sure. When you, I can't think of that. No, okay, so yeah, so it's interesting. You guys want to pick out little quotes of oh, well, look at this good thing this person said. And it's like,
You
well,
were already making a generalization. Not, oh, you guys want to
that's
pick out these
fun.
quotes. I just did that
Well,
for a
it's very
proof.
familiar to me to
Oh,
see a believer pick a specific little moment when somebody said something that they can construe as being,
kind of
valuable
kind
and
of hard to
positive.
construe
And
that.
that's good.
Kind of hard to
That's,
construe
you
that.
know,
It's
I
pretty
mean,
obvious.
yeah. But I mean, a lot of that comes down to which side of the power dynamic somebody's on.
Yeah, but at the
Religion
same no,
has a
no,
lot to do with power dynamics.
no, but except but that whole quote is like, look, you shouldn't just
Mm,
want to silence opposers. You shouldn't just want to
right,
settle for power plays that make people feel bad and shut up. You want to
right,
honor the truth.
right. And that sounds really great out of context. But I mean, she was also the founder of basically what comes down to a cultish sect of
That's such an
fundamentalist
oversimplification.
Christianity.
She was one of multiple, and it is an oversimplification, and there are cultish fringes to everything.
Okay,
Everything.
yeah, so that's kind of whataboutism. Doesn't change the statement that I've made. Uh,
It should.
Not really. Oh, but there are other cults. Yeah, that doesn't change what I just said. I just said she kind of, you know, that's great that she said this one good thing, but that's just it. Like, you can pick up all kinds of books and find all kinds of good things in them.
I mean, did I
You,
did I say? I mean, like there's so many things that
I mean,
she
there's good
wrote.
stuff in Harry Potter, and I fucking hate some of those things. I don't know, there might be something good in Twilight, but I'm not convinced of that, to be honest.
I can't believe I can't
I
believe
hate
it.
that fucking series
I
so
was gonna
bad.
say I can't believe that you just spoke in slightly softer tones about Twilight than about Harry
Oh, I
Potter.
fucking can't stand Twilight.
Ah,
It's so trash. Okay, look, can we get off the religion thing for
yeah,
just a
yeah.
second? Like,
Off the religion
I'm
thing
just
or
gonna.
off of the teen or off of the fiction thing.
No, I want to focus on this for a minute. So when I was being held captive, I was there with other captives, and they were all gushing about how great the Twilight series is. I'm like, okay. They're like, no, no, I know it's young adult lit, but like it's actually pretty good. I'm like, no, it isn't. Come on. And they're like, no, it's actually really good. You gotta try it. You haven't read it, so you can't know. I'm like, oh, okay, motherfuckers. I'll tell you what. I will read your fucking young adult vampire werewolf fiction romance story, which I am positive is garbage. And
Ah,
I and they know me well enough that if I say like, look, I will give it a fair shake. Like, I will try to approach it with some stoicism and distance and detachment, and I'll try to just take it on its own merits. I'm making assumptions. I understand that. They're assumptions based on some good indicators, but yes, I am making some assumptions. I've not actually read it. So, to be fair, I will read it. I will give it my best effort. But if I read it after my best effort and feel no, this is not good. I'm going to make you all listen to a breakdown of exactly why the entire series, well, everything I have wrong with it, is not good. You will all be subject to this until I allow you to leave. And
so you
they
brought this
all
up
agree.
because
They will, because I hate Twilight. I've read that
why did you bring
series
up Twilight?
because I was pointing out that there are many, many different sources that one can go to and find good quotes. That doesn't make those sources overall good.
So I just
Just
want to point
because
out that tangents are allowed because you just went on a whole tangent about story to do with
I'm
captivity
not
and
even
reading
done
Twilight.
with my tangent.
I know. And then
I
earlier I
gave them
started
a
off.
literal hour and a half lecture on the fucking awfulness of that series. Twilight is a fucking terrible series. It is bad. There are so many bad plot problems with it. There are bad character issues with it. There's so much terrible dialogue. Oh my god. It's atrocious. I made them listen to the part about like, okay, here's where we're gonna get into sexist tropes. And like I broke it down by fucking themes. These motherfuckers had to listen to that shit. So
And so what I'm saying is like I think I took even less time talking about like the video, my hair, the divorce, and some other things. And you're like, so what's the point? There's a lot of da 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 da. And look,
yeah,
I let you go
strongly
into
disagree.
I let you go
Also,
on tangents.
that's post fact rationalization. You saw an opportunity to take this to be like, aha, I've got you. You don't got me. It's my fucking channel. I can rant if I want to. We're gonna wrap up here though. It's
No, hold
been
on. Hold on a minute before. Okay, I want to try something for a second. I still have my mic plugged in, but I'm taking the headphones off. Can you still hear
right.
me okay?
Yeah, we can hear you just fine. Yes.
Okay, then I may
Yeah.
never use those headphones again because of
Why
like
is
how
that?
they feel and whatnot.
Oh, they looked cool on you. You look like a professional. You did. You looked professional. I don't know. Fuck. Whatever. YouTubers do
Oh,
that
you know what?
shit.
They match the buns on your head and your little.
That
Oh,
is
sorry. Oh, sorry.
that. Yeah.
I guess
That's
I needed to laugh a little bit.
so. In other
Oh,
words, you're making fun of my appearance. Thanks. That's
no,
great.
well, it's not your real appearance, but anyway. And then also,
This. Whoa. Hey. This
what?
just went. Whoa.
Still clothed
Title.
completely and
Title
utterly
of the
weird.
video: Chloe Gone Wild.
No,
That's.
it's not. It's not. But like as we're wrapping up, and I did choose to be a little bit facetious with these multiple T-shirts because I knew that you would tease.
You are
Um,
just. Oh,
I
fucking
know.
hell. What is this?
You're really easy to tease. You know,
Get over it.
I know that I'm easy to tease, but so are you. So anyway, here, put it back
What?
up.
No. All right. All right. All right. Let me
Okay,
just.
so One of the things, and we've been
Do
talking
your
about like
worst.
honoring. Okay, so this is not from an Adventist book, but this is from a psychologist I really respect who is faith based. And he Dr. Dan Allender, he actually has specialized in sexual abuse. But anyway, um, he writes. I mean, he has lots of other things too. But this I'm trying to get the right centering. Okay. We live in a culture that is committed to escaping the veil of sorrow, but if we are willing to embrace the damage, we can be saved. And he wasn't talking about saved as in like saved
That's
for eternity in heaven kind of thing, but what this struck me as, I mean, this struck me so much at the time where I was when I read it that I put it on a t-shirt because I had this custom made because like I'm somebody who has struggled in the past with embracing the damage or embracing the imperfection or embracing the uncertainty. And so like that's and so but at the same time I also hate bad answers. And so in the last handful of years there's been this integration of certain psychological bents that I have that are uncomfortable with also my love of truth and good answers, and it's been painful and hard to get those to integrate, but it's been happening. And then like what we were talking about, and then you asked like what's one thing that's been affected by like my time connecting more with atheists, um and this kind of speaks to that. And
mm,
then well, I mean, like you instead of avoiding things, instead of cutting things out, face everything fully, stay with it, and work to metabolize and really wrestle with things. So what is this proposed title going on the bottom? I'm not going to even read it out loud, but hopefully that's something that's not going to show up in like the real video. But because you're still doing that, um,
oh goodness.
what? This is not going to, I mean, if anything, this is going to finish with the most highest neck top of all. But I've done this for a while. Like I have custom made t-shirts with certain messages on them. And it's ironic that you first gave me the nickname that I now love, Chloe Plant, because years ago I had this made, and look, a green leaf, because of the whole growth thing. And this
Yeah.
is an Ellen White quote. And something that I loved about it is that it says, and here I'll try and get it on the screen too, is that like, the work of sin God does not undo, but he transforms. And I know that
Egla.
that could maybe be something for like a whole other time, but there's undoing, and that could be nice, go back in time, get a do-over. But then something that was pointed out to me in a book I love, about transformation, and like with metamorphosis, is that it's not just a little change here and there, it's that there is a complete
All right.
total change. There's a
You
complete and
have
total change.
you
And
have 2 minutes.
and complete and total change is very heartening when there's a lot of damage. You know, there's a lot of that that's really heartening, and it's heartening because of some other things that feel really permanent and really immovable, which is where the last one comes in,
Mm,
which is one of my favorites. Some of the text is coming off because it's one of my favorites, and it really helped me cope with some stuff that I went through as a pastor's wife and stuff now. And I wore this to the Taylor Swift Reputation concert, and it says, "While slander may blacken the reputation, it cannot stain the character." And so it's like whatever people may think of you, that may get really fucked up, but who you are and what the absolute core truth is, that can't be stained.
right. So kind of the old quote. Okay, here's the problem with you not wearing the headphones. I can hear myself echoing in your speaker, and it's pissing me off.
Well, then here we go.
Okay. So fuck, I hate that. Okay.
Okay, it should be coming back in. How's now?
All right. Thank you. That's much better. Okay, great. So the slander may not blacken the red. That's a fancy way of saying it's not what you called, it's what you answered to.
All right.
All right. Um, that's it for you, young lady. That's all you're getting. No more of your weird proselytizy. I don't know. I'm still a little intoxicated.
You are.
All right. Anyway, look, I'm glad to know that your relationships that you've chosen to like expand and move out into the world outside of your in group have been useful and rewarding to you in terms of like helping you kind of grapple with some theological issues. Uh, I'm also really glad to know that our relationship has been valuable to you in helping expand your understandings, especially in the realm of science. It gives me hope for you. Um, yeah, you laugh, but I'm kind of not kidding.
I know, I know.
um,
I'm just taking it one day, one moment at a time, and yeah.
yeah. Well,
And I mean, there's if the truth is always the safest place to be,
this was
and
supposed to be a much shorter show, so let's not start a whole new thread here. Matter of fact, I just wanted to go ahead and take the opportunity now to say thank you, Chloe, for coming to hang out and talk with me, even though we've talked too much. All of you listeners out there, that all three of you, please feel free to feel free to do the things on whatever platform you're getting this on, which is probably YouTube. So please, click the like button, comment, subscribe, tick the bell, all that.
and everybody,
I don't
don't
know.
be afraid to be curious, because again, the
Yeah.
truth the
Well,
truth is the safest place to be.
I'm
So
gonna
I just
mute you.
no.
Just no, yeah. You all are welcome to make remarks. I now actually anticipate that Chloe will share something on Facegram or Instabook,
No,
and I'm
no,
gonna deal with a
I'm
bunch of
no.
Christians barging into my comments, telling me what an asshole I am, which is fine. I don't mind. That'll just give me more fuel to play with later. But all the stuff you guys normally do to help out algorithm shit, please do that. It's all right. We're gonna be demonetized if we ever reach monetization. We would immediately have all these demonetized anyway because I say fuck and shit all the time. Um, we'll talk about sexual assault, rape, Nazis. That'll get us demonetized. They don't want to put us on the algorithm for that. So uh, we may not have talked about Nazis. Anyway, doesn't really matter. Point is, thank you again, Chloe. I'm glad you
You're
could join
welcome.
me.
Are you sure?
This, I mean, look, take the win, all right? Just take the fucking. This has been Talk to Your Plants with Fern and Chloe. Thank you for helping me grow and apparently for helping Chloe grow as well. I hope you all have grown a little bit too. Good night.